Hello there folks, I'm Dan Brown from sortofinteresting.com and today you're joining me on board good old Narrowboat Abel's Ark for a look at a quick job that I did on board recently, which was replace my electric inverter, as a few days ago I had a bright idea, which was to basically do an experiment for a YouTube video talking about how quickly you could heat up the general air temperature on a boat, because it's such a small internal space with a low ceiling and narrow width and what have you. And part of that was using an electric fan heater, which sadly overloaded my old inverter, and well, the rest is history sadly. Anyway, I am recording this new introduction to this video a few days after I recorded the original one, which I did at the time of doing the job, as I realised when I came to edit the video that it was absolute mayhem. Even by my standards it was a rambling video, where you didn't even see an inverter until 5 minutes, well, I think almost 6 minutes in, 5 minutes something. And we had all sorts of distractions, such as when I realised at one point that it was raining outside, and then remembered I had my bike helmet and scarfy thing and me gloves and me glasses sat on the front of the boat roof, as I'd been trying to figure out a way that I could get my bike on board via the front of the boat rather than fetching it in through the back door for security, obviously, over the chaotic months ahead. And so all sorts of distractions was going on. And one side note here, I can promise you that every 10 foot of forward movement I did with an inverter in my backpack, I swear that backpack became about 10 times heavier. Anyway, let's just get stuck straight into this video. Hope you enjoy it. Right then, my friends, as you can see here, we have got our frazzled, broken old inverter, and I'm fairly certain it's this way round, hopefully, our brand new full working condition inverter. Yeah, I'm 80% certain at this point that this is definitely the new one to fit. And I want to say at this point that even though this is a surprisingly simple job, or certainly surprised me when I first had to replace the very low wattage inverter that was on board originally when I bought the boat with this one after I'd frazzled that and then frazzled this one anyway. Again, at this point, I want to say that sentence that I just said about frazzling two inverters should be an example and demonstration that I am definitely not qualified to give you any electronic advice or teach you how to install things like this. So please don't use this as a tutorial. This is literally for entertainment purposes only, this video. So in a very simple Dan Brown level of understanding of what this inverter does, in particular on this boat in my circumstance where I haven't got solar panels or anything like that. Basically, we've got 2 leads from the batteries that are in the engine bay and that are charged up by the engine running, which those 2 leads are going to attach to the corresponding little plug socket, whatever these things are, little spindle things. Here, again, that's a good example of my lack of technical knowledge. So you'll connect the battery up there, or I will, and then this basically takes the power from the batteries and then outputs to the plug sockets on the top a form of power that can be used by things like my laptop and my LED lighting and just standard UK power sockets basically. And we've even got a little USB thing there. So, without further ado, let's get stuck in. So, basically, what's about to happen here is I'm going to start by going under the deck boards into the engine bay and switching off the battery bank at the main isolator switch, which hopefully will stop any power coming through these 2 cables here, as well as any power coming into the boat. And then I think before I attach the inverter to the back wall here, I think that I will just test it first after I've attached that to check that it's definitely working. And then at that point, obviously to test it, I'll need to flick the isolator switch on the batteries. And then after that, I will put it back onto the wall. And hopefully everything will pick up as normal then. Okay, so beneath the deck board here, you can see where our batteries are, covered by this piece of wood that's bolted down over them. And if I put this down, hopefully you can see that red switch there, which is the key switch, which is, and I think it says here, battery isolation switch. So heck, even with this cover on the back, we've got all these little leaves that have fallen off the trees and found their way in. And now just to check, you can see we haven't got any power coming into the boat. as you can see, fitting these is literally a case of screwing and unscrewing these large dials on the top. And get those nice and tight. And now I think I'm going to give it a test, like I say, before I put it up onto the wall, just up in that direction. So the moment of truth, has the power returned to the boat? Yes, right. In that case, I'm just going to plug one of these things in and see if we can get the LED lights to work. Okay, so we're plugged in, and I'm going to flip the switch. I don't know if you've seen that the light has come on. That's a good sign. And then we're going to follow the wire up. I've got the switch in my hand. And have we got success? 3, 2, 1. Yes. Fantastic. And that's how simple it is. I suppose I better actually fit it now to the back wall, I suppose. Right, let's disconnect all this stuff again. Well, my friends, as you might be able to hear, I've now got the engine running to charge the batteries up a little bit. We've got the inverter running. We've got the good lights now well in operation, as you can see across the edges of the roof here. I know, I've got to say, I'm happy with that all in all. Nice swift job. Just a shame about, obviously, the inverter going in the first place. A nice job, but it shouldn't have had to be done. That's the term I was looking for to wrap this up. Right, I'm going to get the fire lit. Luckily, again, it's been a mild night. I wouldn't have wanted to try to do this if I got freezing cold fingers or anything like that. Okay then, my friends, so that's the end of the inverter replacement section of this video. And as this isn't meant to be a proper full-fledged boat life vlog or anything, I just want to take this as an opportunity to throw in just a few more thoughts and response really to all the comments that I had after I posted the last video, which I think was vlog number 18, about keeping warm on the boat during the winter months. Of course, being the one where I obviously blew the inverter out in an attempt to do the experiment for. And one of the things that really I can't believe I didn't realise and think, but in the comments a few different people mentioned that when I've got the fire door open, even though while I'm sat here I can feel the heat radiating outwards, it's obviously drawing a huge amount of air, rather than just having the air going into the fire and up through the chimney, through the little vents in the fire. When you've got the entire door open, even though the vicinity may feel extremely warm having the fire just radiating straight out onto you, obviously further in that's drawing air from all of the gaps in the windows, from further down the boat maybe, and of course that's letting a lot of the hot air that's already on the boat go straight into the fire and up out through the chimney. And that's a huge thing that I hadn't thought about whatsoever. And I can't believe, as soon as I read it, it was like, oh, no wonder it's always colder in the bedroom and what have you, because I'm keeping the airflow coming directly into the fire. And that's something that I'm doing often before bed, when I stack up the fire and let it go wild for a few minutes while I'm cleaning my teeth and stuff. Of course, as that door's open, just letting the heat out here and getting it unbelievably hot in this area, obviously somewhere that air that's all fueling into the fire and up the chimney is coming from somewhere else in the boat. So yeah, thank you for that. I'm learning as much as I am teaching, although I would never claim to ever teach anybody teach anybody anything in these videos. So anyway, I just thought that was quite an interesting thing. Just an extra little clip here that I didn't put into my previous video either, that I'll just throw it in here and then we'll wrap up. So basically last night the fire was last stocked up and dealt with at probably sometime between midnight and quarter past midnight. It's now about 20 to 10, quarter to 10 in the morning, obviously on the following day. And you can see that the eco fan, which is powered by the heat of the fire, is still getting enough heat from the fire, almost 10 hours after it was last tended to, that the eco fan is still clearly well in motion. Now, admittedly, that's nowhere near its full speed, but it just illustrates that the fire is still quite warm there. And if we look outside here, you can see it's a sort of cloudy, overcast day. So it's obviously not a bitterly cold, clear, frosty winter morning out there. So it's a slightly warmer temperature than some of the days we've had recently. And if I now pan the camera around and take a look at our carbon monoxide detector, we'll wait for that to change over to the thermometer reading. But you can see it's 23 degrees on board. And so that obviously almost 10 hours or so, or a good 9 hours or so later from obviously last tending to the fire, you can see how without the really cold temperature wicking away the heat through the boat's windows and what have you, it's actually still really, really warm on board. Thank you very much for tuning in, my friends. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I know it hasn't been anything fancy or a proper boat life vlog style video, but I hope you've enjoyed it as just a little bit of a boaty bonus video. Please do, as always though, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell so that YouTube will actually tell you when I post a video, which is always handy of them too. Please do consider checking out my hundreds of other boat life videos from my life on my previous narrowboat Tilly. And if you're really curious or want to support me a little bit, then please do consider checking out my short boat life books available for the Kindle and as a paperback, and one of them even as a short audiobook. You'll find links to those in the description below, available from Amazon. If you visit narrowboatbooks.com, that'll take you straight to my author page on Amazon. And, well, as always, check the other links in the description where you'll find Facebook and Snapchat and Twitter and Instagram and all that sort of stuff, where I tend to post just an awful lot of boat life pictures and general countryside scenes. So I will wrap things up properly now and simply say, as always, have an absolutely fantastic day, keep it interesting, keep it boat worthy, and of course, farewell.